Check, 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 check. Well, Wickerson Studios here. As you can see here, I'm setting up a robot, and it's okay that it has a few errors because I'm not a KUKA expert. But as you can see here, I'm using the image sampler to basically then use the KUKA as a drilling tool or a stamping tool. And the reason I'm doing this is I'm thinking I could bring this into augmented reality in my backyard. So I'm going to come down here and show you this little fun tool I've been working in the backyard with. It's this massive tilt furnace and this ladle here, which will pour. I just dragged it up from downstairs. It'll pour about 300 pounds of aluminum and 900 pounds of bronze if I so choose. And I'm basically going to be tapping that, turning the crank on that, and rolling out kind of single pours into green sand. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense. But in doing so, I'm going to pull in this robot on AR Spark, which is something I was playing around with the drilling tool of Carl Singline. But as you can tell, as it's running, the image sampler is pretty simple. It's just a script that I've gone in, and before I was just using a geometry of just points to produce a mesh, and before that I think I was using a mesh of a skeleton to just kind of drill. But you can see that I brought in the rectangular grid, thrown it through an image sampler, amplified the points, played a little bit with the Z directions and motions to produce another grid that, this isn't so beautiful, but at least gets the point of what I'm trying to do. You can see how it undulates and changes the surface, but that's to provide data of a grid that I can then put in the mesh faces. I can throw it through a gene sampler of selecting meshes. And I guess I was doing that, and I think there was 4,000 vertices, and I'm just randomly choosing 100 or 1,000. I believe that's what I have in here as a set. I'd have to hit my edit. No, I've got 100. So I'm just choosing 100 of those faces. If I crank that up to 5, it's going to slow my script down a little bit. And there you go, a few more coming out, and I can change which ones I select. There we go. There's 500 being selected now. And then I'm setting up a few of the tools, the orient planes, and then using the commands of point planes to the linear motion planes, and getting a command system that the robot can then imitate and go through. So you can see you get an image sampler. It's going to be lifted and lofted. I think here are just the circles showing the surface, but I've used the radius of those circles to provide the lifting and pushing of those in the z-axis. So once again, it's kind of a mess, but you can see as I run it through a play system, that will jump in, and now it's got to push 500 points. So just got a lot more articulation to what that's actually doing, and hopefully the robot will do. You see, I gotta have it running through a fast stream. It's going pretty fast. I probably need to advance this to maybe I'll go up 260 and advance it. Should slow it down a little bit. Hit pause and go into it again. There you go. It's just slowed it down a little bit as it's doing the points. Now they're not in order, and I probably should sort them. Otherwise, it's a lot of work for the robot. But I'll leave that for the experts. But I do like the idea that I can take the data to drive the geometries and drive the radii, and if I change the multiplication factors on those points, they really do graft in nicely. The data streams put them in and raise and lower them, so you not only have that form, but you actually have, if I just hit pause on this, I don't think I hit pause. Yeah, you can see that I've actually gotten, pretty hard to see there. Let me go back to the grid, to the lofted grid. There it is. So that form, that data is actually driving this form, which is kind of a rooster. But it would have to have some finesse. I'd have to play a little more. Maybe I'll choose something that's more black and white, not so much gray tones. And I can amplify and change those settings. It's not that slow a script, actually. It actually goes pretty fast. And I've had a little bit of do-si-do around in here that actually I think I threw it into. I think I have a little weird node system that I was using. No, I took it out. I was going mesh the prep, but you didn't need to do it. I just used my deconstruct mesh to get at the vertices. And, the script's online. You can play with it in the gene pool. You can totally randomize this stuff, which will provide a different toolpath for the KUKA robot to follow, depending on what you do. So you can see that kind of dances. If you like the setting, you could just change it slightly and just move it by 10% or by 1%. But it's not efficient to say the least. It's not optimized, but I like it all the same. If I have this one and this one, I think I can take it off. No, it's because all the geometries are in there. Let me grab a mesh. Sorry, this is confusing, but the more you get into here, the mesh geometry. If I just disconnect that one and take this one over to here, and then slide that one into there, and then shift this one in here, you can see there's the mesh. There's the points, the data that's driving it. You can change that from the image sampler. You can do whatever you want. I was using radii on a circle because so many people use that. Daniel Christes used that. And then you get the path of the KUKA. So I'll try neatening up this script and making it a little more sensible. But you can see where it's gone. And it's actually moved from a simple geometry into an image sampler geometry, still using the command lines of the basic drill tools. You got to play around a little bit with surfaces and yeah, trying to program in some type of manufacturing technique of how I could be casting, and making molds in my backyard and green sand molds from a robot. And of course, one day I might be able to actually afford one. So let's just run it through the simulation. There you go. Not too exciting. I do like it just with these two on, which is kind of nice. Yep. There's your geometry. So I guess I could just grab that geometry. Sort of a rooster. Uh, Not a great image sampler, but who knows? It might be nice to polish up and have it as a tiled work. Could be much smaller, but since I'm going to be able to cast such a massive amount of aluminum, I'm very excited to see, where this is actually going to end up going. So thanks very much for watching.